The fact is, most business owners are struggling, and they're struggling needlessly. You are struggling needlessly. The reason why most business owners are struggling is, quite frankly, because you're trying to do too much and you're not working in your genius. Hey, business owner to business owner, I'm going to shoot straight with you like I always do. As a firearms instructor that owns your own business, many of you are struggling. You may not be, but what if you could do even better? The fact is, most business owners are struggling, and they're struggling needlessly. You are struggling needlessly. The reason why most business owners are struggling is, quite frankly, because you're trying to do too much and you're not working in your genius. There are many pieces and parts of the puzzle and many things that have to be done within a business. They absolutely have to be done. They're non-negotiable. But if you're trying to do all of them yourself, or you have a mediocre team, meaning a small team, not necessarily inadequate people, but if you're not being consistent in the things that need to be done, allowing you to do what you do best, which in most cases is actually firearms instruction in various levels, in your specific skill set and what you do and how you do it, then you're diluting your skill set and you're greatly diluting your business. Let me explain. There are things that absolutely, little things, tiny little things that seem so insignificant that absolutely have to be done in your business, but you either are trying to get them done, you know they need to be done, but they're not being done, and if they are being done, they're either not being done well enough, and they're definitely not being done consistently. An example, something as simple as requesting a review. Some people, quite frankly, don't like to ask for a review. They don't even like to ask for a referral. Hell, some people don't even like to ask to get paid. And many business owners don't like to sell. I can't tell you how many business owners I've talked to that said, Wally, I'm just not a salesperson. Well, then where's your sales team? No sales team. Not even one person doing sales. Maybe somebody sitting at the front desk that you expect to do sales, but isn't trained to do sales, right? The phone rings, they're asking for something, they're giving them some mediocre answer and not fully answering the question, and maybe even saying something like, well, we can't help you with that. What? That's not what you should have people doing. Anyway, talking about sales, talking about asking for referrals, talking about asking for reviews, following up with people who have come into the store or visited your website, following up with them on a regular basis and sharing the information with them that they are looking for on a consistent basis, following up with current and past clients on a regular basis, following up with them, reaching out to them, telling them, hey, happy birthday. We got something for you. If you come into the store today or you go online today, you get 25% off holsters or whatever the case may be. And, just following up with people during sending out information about what's going on in the community, what's going on in the industry, what new laws have changed, what new regulations are coming up, what things people need to consider, how to be safe with a firearm. Many, many things that have to be done. But you cannot do them, and I promise you, your team cannot do them very well and consistently. That's where my team comes in. I have a team of people myself as a retired U.S. Army medic, 25 years, been around weapons my entire life, growing up in Phoenix, Arizona, and growing up with weapons all the time. You may have heard the story. If you haven't, go to my website, Center Mass Consulting, and watch the video there. But my team does all of this for you. Fact of the matter is, we automate most of it because it can be automated. Look, I know a lot of people like, well, I don't want to do automation. I want to be authentic. Elon Musk he's not doing all the stuff himself. Gary Vaynerchuk, all of these big, huge business owners All the biggest businesses out there are not doing the stuff themselves. They are having other people do it, and much of it is automated. Let me tell you a quick story. This will be quick. When I was on active duty, stationed in El Paso, Texas, just before 9/11, just before the towers went down and the planes went in the towers and all that kind of stuff, I was in charge of what was called the LMTS, the Laser Marksmanship Training System. And what it was, you may know what it is, you may have seen a different version of it, but back then it was called the Laser Marksmanship Training System. And I worked in a hospital. I worked in operations of the hospital, and I was in charge of the ranges. I was in charge of all the ammo. I was in charge of, anything of anyone within our organization that needed to go to the range and qualify. And we adopted and purchased and got training on this LMTS, and I was the lead trainer. And I used to go to meetings on Fort Bliss, where the infantry was at, and field artillery specifically, and then their infantry there as well. And I used to sit in these meetings and listen to them about how much training ammo they spent just trying to get people qualified, not even going on a live fire range, just trying to get people zeroed, just getting their weapons zeroed, their M4s, M16s, getting them zeroed, and then using their M9s and stuff like that. Well, these numbers were astronomical. The dollar amount was astronomical, and they were trying to save as much money as they could. So I'm like, hey, why don't you guys consider using the Laser Marksmanship Training System? Oh my God, you'd have thought that they, it was the most preposterous thing. They're like, oh, the medic, the hospital, that's good for you guys, but for us, we got to use real ammo, right? Okay, got it. All I'm saying is, you can get these people's weapons zeroed in a secure environment. You can do it right here in the hallway, right? And you can get their weapons zeroed. That way, when you get on the range, you do a 9-shot verification that their weapon is zeroed, and then put them on the range to qualify, and then go to another live fire range. They're like, oh, no, we can't do that. That's preposterous. That's crazy. Well, 9/11 kicked off, and now we had all of these infantry, National Guard, coming into Fort Bliss to get processed to go downrange. Guess who they called to help get all of these people zeroed? Because now they had hundreds of thousands of dollars projected just to get people qualified and zeroed on their weapon before they could go downrange. That's right. They called the medics. Medics were at Fort Bliss training infantry and getting them zeroed on their weapon in our day room and in our gym so that they could go to the range and get zeroed. And I'm telling you, our organization alone went from about, and now remember, we're talking about doctors and the pogues, right? So these folks were at an average first time go rate, being zeroed and being qualified, was about 60% on average from the past. After the LMTS, it went to upwards about almost 90% first time, because they were more confident with their weapon. They were zeroed with their weapon when they went on the range, and we used a lot less ammo. Why am I telling you that story? Here's the reason why. Because it was new technology that the infantry couldn't imagine using in regular circumstances. And then irregular circumstances came, and guess what they needed? Well, you're in an irregular circumstance. I want you to be able to train more people in your community. I want you to be able to get more people and spend most of your time doing what you do best and getting in front of more people. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is to hire my team and I to come in and set up a system for you to be able to do some of the stuff that needs to happen. Let me give you one more example of something that needs to happen that probably you're not doing. Your phone rings. You're standing in front of a client. Do you answer your phone? You shouldn't, because you're in front of a client right now. Let it go to voicemail. But then that person on the phone is probably going to call the next firearms instructor in line, because they're looking for information. They're checking prices. They're checking availability. They're checking all that kind of stuff. You know what they're looking for? But you lost that opportunity because you let it to go to voicemail, possibly. The average business owner misses about 64% of incoming calls. That could be, depending on the volume, that could be anywhere from 5 calls to 80 calls, just depending on the volume. But what if the phone rang and when it goes to voicemail, there's a system in place that automatically within about 7 seconds sends a message to that caller and a text message that says, hey, sorry we missed your call. What can we do for you? Somebody is available to answer your questions. Text back. Whoa, that's cool. I'd rather text anyway. So they text back instead of calling the next person in line. Hey, what are your hours? Are you available on Friday? And then you can get back to them as soon as you get done with that client that you're talking to. Or you're on a live fire range and you can't answer your phone. Or you're afraid to answer the phone because it might be spam. Right? So consider that, and it can go even a step further. We can have AI automatically, we train it with your frequently asked questions, and when that question comes in, the AI will answer for you. It will say, you know what, I think we do have availability on Friday. Here's our schedule link. Go ahead and check it out for yourself. If you see a date and time that works for you, go ahead and schedule. The system can do that for you, and you don't have to miss that opportunity. How awesome is that? So go to Center Mass Consulting, check out the videos on that site, see the different services that we offer, and then get in touch with us and let us do an evaluation of your business, see what would work best for you so that we can help you gain more clients, retain more clients, bring back past clients, all while you're on the range doing what you do best. All right? If I haven't said it already, if you haven't heard me say this before, I greatly appreciate what it is that you do. I want to help you do more of it. Take care.